Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. This is part 3 in the second hour. So we will continue with balance equation using ion electron method in basic medium. So what's the difference between acidic medium and basic medium? These are the steps in ion electron method. So actually, the steps are similar to the steps in acidic medium. See? All the 3 steps are similar to the previous one. But the difference here is the last step where you have to add OH minus equal to number of H plus in the final equation. So H plus OH minus will produce a water molecule. Now let's look at example 1. Balance the following redox equation in basic medium. So the first step here is to split the equation into 2. So this will form one equation since we have chromium in common. And the next one, we have IO3 minus and I minus. So we group this into another equation because we have I in common. So please ignore OH minus and H2O in the equation. So these are the two equations. So you don't have to label which one is oxidation and which one is reduction. It's enough if you just label as 1 and 2 to show the two equations. Now let's fill in this table. First, you just have to copy the two equations into the table. Next, balance M. So on the left side, there is one chromium atom, and on the right side, there is also one chromium. So there is nothing that you should do here. Just rewrite this equation into the table. Next, O, the oxygen atom. So on the left side, we have 3 oxygen atoms. And on the right side, there are also 3 oxygen atoms. So you don't have to add any water molecule. So just rewrite this equation into this part. Next, H. To balance the number of hydrogen atoms, so on the left side we have 3 hydrogen and on the right side there is no hydrogen. So you have to add 3H plus to the right side. And lastly, to balance the number of electrons, please check the charge of each part first. So on the left side the charge is 0. On the right side, the charge is -2 plus 3. So the total charge on the right side is 1. Let's list down. So 1 is more positive than 0. So 1 has to minus 1. So that the number of charge is equals to 0. So we have to add plus 1 electron on the right side. Now let's look at the next equation. Look at the iodine first. So on the left side there is 1 iodine and on the right side there is also 1 iodine. So you don't have to multiply with anything. Just rewrite this equation into the table. Next, the number of oxygen atoms. So on the left side there are 3 oxygen atoms. On the right side there is no oxygen atom. So you have to add 3H2O on the right side so that the number of hydrogen atoms are equal. Next, the hydrogen. So on the left side there is no hydrogen. On the right side there are 6 hydrogen. So you have to add 6H plus to the left side. And finally, to balance the charge of the equation, let's list down all the charge of the ions. So here we have -1, +6, and here we have -1 and 0. So on the left side, the total charge is 5. On the right side, the charge is -1. 5 is more positive than -1. So if 5 wants to become -1, it has to minus 6. So this minus 6 will exist in the equation as plus 6 electron. Before we combine the two equations, let's recheck the two equations. For this one, we have plus E on the right side, and for this equation, we have plus 6E on the left side. So you have to multiply this whole equation by 6 so that the number of electrons on both equations are equal, and we can cancel out the electron before we combine. So now we can cancel the electrons and rewrite the equation and combine the equation, group all the reactant on one side and group all the products on the other side. So for the reactant, we have 6CrOH3, we have IO3 minus, and 6H plus. And on the product side, we have 6CrO3 2 minus plus 18H plus, and here we have I minus and 3H2O. Now let's recheck this equation. Since we have 6H plus and 18H plus, which are common in the ions, so actually we can either combine or cancel out the remaining. So since we have 6H plus on the left side and 18H plus on the right side, so we can subtract 18 minus 6, and the remaining will stay at the side which is greater in the number. So cancel 6H plus and 18H plus. So 18 minus 6, the answer is 12H plus. So this is the final equation. Now we will continue with the next part, which is adding OH minus to the equation. So this is the final equation just now. So to balance the equation in basic medium, we have to add the same number of OH minus to the equation, since we have 12H plus in the final equation. So we have to add also 12 OH minus to both sides of the equation. So 12H plus 12 OH minus will produce 12 H2O. So we have 6CrOH3 plus IO3 minus plus 12 OH minus at the left side, and 6CrO3 2 minus, I minus, 12H2O and 3H2O on the right side. So these two can combine. 12 plus 3 is 15H2O. Since the number of H2O is on the same side, then we can total out the number of molecule. But if it exists on different side, we have to subtract the molecule and put the balance on the side which is greater in value. So let's rewrite the final equation. So this is the final equation in basic medium. Why basic medium? Because the final equation contains OH minus, not H plus, like in acidic medium. So I hope all of you are clear how to balance this equation in basic medium. The steps are exactly the same like in acidic medium, except that you have to add OH minus in the final step. Now let's go to example 2. So actually this equation is from the final equation from part 1, which is acidic medium. So to write the equation in basic medium, On the left side, we have 8H plus in the final equation. So what you should do now is to add 8OH minus to the equation. Plus 8OH minus to both sides. So 8H plus 8OH minus will form 8H2O. Okay, now let's rewrite the equation. Since we have water molecule here, 8H2O on the left side and 4H2O on the right side, so actually we can subtract 8 minus 4 and the balance is 4. You have to put on the side which is greater in value. So let's cancel this out. 4H2O. Okay, now I will rewrite this equation so that you don't get confused. Okay, now the equation is complete. See, it's not that hard to do this part. The steps are exactly the same like in acidic medium. It's just that you have to add OH minus to the final part. So I hope all of you are clear how to balance equation in basic medium. So that's all for part 3. Thank you.